Hello everybody and welcome back to the British Pokemon League show. It is week numero 5. We are at the mid-season point, boys and girls. Free agency is wide open and things are about to get spicy. We're heading into that downward slope that is the business end of the season. We're only a month and a half away from the end of the season, and then we'll have a little break before playoffs. But so not long to go until things get real spicy, and we'll see who gets crowned the season 4 British Pokemon League champion. But before all that, before any of that happens, we have got some very exciting Week 5 matches for you to come. And let's take a look at the league table as we go into this week. As you can see, going into Week 5, Miami Heat and Inglorious Surfers both locked into 4-0 on a +8 game difference record. They're going to have to meet at some point, and it is going to be this week, boys and girls. We'll take a look at the rest of the schedule in just a little bit. Welsh Warriors cementing that third place after the victory of the Bully Boys last week, so going very well at 3-1. Below them there is a whole lot of teams on a 2-2 record. Bully Boys, Long Island Goobies, Criminal Colossals, Shadow Kings and Tendon Melmetals. The Melmetals climbing out the relegation zone for the first time this season. Meanwhile, Newcastle Thunderous find themselves back in that bottom 4 once again in a sort of rinse and repeat of last season. And the South Croydon Saws, I think, is the most surprising one. Our Season 2 and Season 3 runner-up really struggling down there in that bottom 4, as well as Space City PC on that 0-4 record down at the bottom, hoping to see them finally get a win this week. And obviously 11th place Swindon Rookadies, currently being coached by the man himself, Jurgen Hopp, up until the free agency period ends, and then we'll see what happens going forward. Into that, we may have a new team, we all may continue, we shall certainly see. But let's take a look at the schedule going into Week 5. So as you can see, headlining this week's show is Inglorious Surfers taking on Miami Heat. These two haven't battled each other since Season 1. It is such a long time ago since these two battled. Season 2, they were both in separate sides of divisions. Last season, Lat unfortunately had to leave before they got to face each other. So a first time matchup between these two ought to be very exciting. Then next up, it is the Battle of Wales. It is the Welsh Warriors taking on the Criminal Colossals. Dr. Dave taking on Matrix. Ought to be a very, very spicy one. Matrix will be looking to continue on that very good form. Then we have got the South Croydon Saws taking on Long Island Goomies. Crizzle on a 3-match losing streak at the minute, so we'll be looking to try and end that. And silly bit of topsy-turvy form thus far this season, but we'll be hoping to sort of right the wrongs and try and get a little bit of momentum going. Then next up is the Bully Boys taking on the Swindon Rookadies. I have never beaten Wheel in a British Pokemon League match as of yet, so it'll be very interesting to see if can finally get over that little hump. Then we have got the Space City PC taking on the Tendo Melmetals, as we said there. Me looking for his first win of the season. Can he get it against the resurgent Kirky and his Melmetals? We'll have to wait and see. And rounding out the show, it is the big dog derby of Shadow Kings taking on Newcastle Thunderous. Last time out, the Dogsy Shadow Kings getting the win over Dave. So Dave going to be looking for a little bit of revenge on that one, and try and get himself back to winning ways himself as well. A little bit of a losing streak at the minute, so we'll see if he can put an end to that. But let's get into the first one. It is, of course, the Inglorious Surfers taking on Miami Heat. It has all been building up to this one, guys. These two been unstoppable so far this season. They were always going to have to meet at some point. I dare say they may have stayed unbeaten up until that point, regardless of whether they face each other now or later on in the season. These two both on fire at the minute. And someone's losing their unbeaten streak. Someone's going 5-0 into the mid-season. Which one is it going to be? Last time out these two played was all the way back in Season 1 playoffs. In Winners Round 1, where Lat was able to take a 2-0 victory over Aaron and his Surfers and send him down to the losers bracket. Of course, Miami Heat winning the Season 1 of the British Pokemon League. So it's going back a long way. But that was 3 seasons ago. Absolutely nothing to base on in terms of that now. We are in a different format. There's no Dynamax. There's Megas now. And it's going to be really exciting to see how this one goes. That has been getting a lot of look with that Articuno Galar. People keep setting up competitive for him for some reason. And he keeps just taking full advantage of that. He's been working so well, as a Trick Room or Tailwind setter. Just sort of play around with the speeds, where he can. Could be exciting to see whether the Lipard comes this week, either as sort of fake out pranks at annoyance, or could even run it with a Grassy Seed and Unbeaten and give it that little defense buff that it might need. I think Typhlosion would be a really nice bring for Latvian this week. I think it would just sort of force Aaron to have to bring the power up just to try and put a stop to that, but be very interested to see if that Typhlosion can get the damage off. It's very strong into a lot of Aaron's team. We've seen it running that Scarf Eruption the last couple of weeks, and it is doing some big damage, very big scary damage. And of course you've got the likes of Mr. Mime with that fake out follow me potential as well, which is going to be really useful here. Just fake out in general I think is going to be very good, just to try and put a stop to at least one of Aaron's ones getting damage off early doors. We've not really seen too much of the Machoke or Duraludon thus far this season, so I don't really predict those two coming, but you never know. Maybe Seaking's going to make an appearance as well to sort of counter the Pikachu pick. Over on Aaron's side though, I think it's a pretty safe bet that Rillaboom is coming along. We've seen Aaron in a few different sets on this Rillaboom. We've seen the leftovers, sort of bulky side. We've seen a sort of heavy hitting Grassy Glide sweeper side. But one thing that Aaron has really done well thus far this season is just sort of shown the variety of this team of 11 Mons. Just about every Mon on this team has been used at some point. And we've even seen some weeks where the sort of main heavy hitters of this squad, the Swampert, the power uppers, Mawile, Rillaboom, haven't even featured. You've been able to make great use out of Turtonator. And then sort of the surprise package this season has been the Drapion. No one seems to have a sort of major answer for this thing. It just comes in, it's hitting you with stab, dark, and poison type moves. Obviously, only weak to ground makes it a very, very difficult foe to deal with. Anyway, guys, it is time. Let us get into this one. It is the Miami Heat taking on the Inglorious Surfers. And as he's there, Aaron has got the Drapion, Mawile, Crobat, Bronzong, Pelipper, and the Rillaboom there. So Pelipper does come. And Latvian with the Urshifu, Fungus, Gengar, Galar, Articuno, Primarina, and Mr. Mouse. So no Typhlosion in that team. It's actually very interesting the way Lat leads this. And Aaron leading the line with the Crobat and the Drapion. Again, Aaron's been getting a lot of luck using that Crobat with the Hypnosis, putting stuff to sleep. Latvian leading, of course, with Articuno has got Mr. Mime there as the fake out support one. But that Drapion is going to be able to get some big damage done into that Mr. Mime, so it does need to be careful. And of course, Aaron can even potentially just sort of counter the Tailwind here with his own Tailwind. So Latvian could try and make a read on this and try and maybe go for Trick Room, predicting the Tailwind and fake out the Drapion and really sort of put himself in the driver's seat for that. There's a few different ways he could play this for sure. But I think there's going to be a lot of mind games in this one. Obviously nobody wants to lose their unbeaten streak this early on. They want to keep winning, give themselves that best chance of making playoffs. If Aaron does win here, it means he hasn't lost a game since since last season to the Bulu boys. Freezing Glare comes out from the Articuno after the fake out. The Crobat does hang on thanks to its Focus Sash with Tailwind. It does go up. So great start there for Latvian's got some good damage off on that Crobat. Freezing Glare was always going to be a big hit there. Fake out into the Drapion was definitely the right move. It's gonna really hit that Articuno hard with like the likes of a Night Slash, things like that. So good stuff from that there, making a good start. Follow Me comes out from the Mr. Mime. There's the Hypnosis. He's going to get it off again, and Crunch is going to come out on that Mr. Mime. Get some big damage at Articuno, going for the Trick Room. So Latvian does indeed reverse the speed round. So 2 times a Tailwind and now 4 times a Trick Room, where the Latvian can sort of pivot to get the mons he needs in the field and make full use of that Trick Room being up. We could maybe even see a double switch here for Latvian, get rid of the Mr. Mime that's asleep and bring in something that's going to benefit Trick Room. As the Fungus is going to switch in. Articuno stays in. The Shadow Ball is going to take out the Crobat, and the Trap Ring gets a big hit. The Articuno, but it is the Cobble Berry, so Articuno not going to take as big of a hit. But now in comes the Rillaboom with the grassy terrain, and now that's going to be healing everything on the field each time. 1 turn left to Tailwind to go with another 3 of Trick Room. Fungus really primed very well here, but of course this Rage Powder is not going to affect Rillaboom here, and Rillaboom does of course have Darkest Lariat, so 2 mons on the field now that can really threaten this Articuno if that isn't careful. But similarly, that Articuno is a big threat to the Rillaboom as well, so nothing is safe, but Latvian does have the early Mon advantage. Could see sleep powders come out from Fungus and it become a complete war of attrition of putting things to sleep. Just things taking nap time left, right, and centre. Mr. Mime's going to switch out, reads the fake out, gets a bit of damage at Mr. Mime's. Sport's going to come out and put that Drapion to sleep. So Drapion going to be taking a nap. And that's 2 Mons on the field now asleep. So good switch out there from Latvian. Reads the fake out coming. And it's going to allow the Galar to switch it back in at a later time. Not a whole lot happening thus far. It's very much, as I said, a war of attrition. These two just trying to work each other out. Lack's got another 2 turn of Trick Rooms to go. Tailwind has ended for the side of Aaron. Arcuna going to switch back in. There's the Grassy Guys that makes a good read then. Arcuna's going to resist that. Out comes the Pollen Puffs, just going to heal Arcuna right back up against some great stuff there from Latvian. Fungus really pulling its its weight as a support man and making a great read from that Grassy Glide. You know, you can see that Mr. Mime would have went down to that. Pollen Puff comes out again, it's going to get some big damage off to the Rillaboom, especially from the Arcuna, from the Fungus. Darkest Larry is on the Rillaboom, and it's a big damage. There's a Freezing Glare, gets the crit, but Rillaboom just about hangs on, so it doesn't look like there's any kind of flying move on that Arcuna there. Maybe would have worked a little bit better in that scenario, but Rillaboom doesn't live to fight another day, as now Trick Room is over. So, while Fungus can't really... I mean, it's obviously got Pollen Puff to sort of hurt Rillaboom, but it can't make use of his Rage Power while Rillaboom is around. Rillaboom also can't really hurt it back, so Fungus is relatively safe in this scenario. Grassy Guard's going to come out, just get a little bit of chip damage with Articuno. Shadow Ball is going to take out the Rillaboom, and the Drapion is going to wake up and it's going to get rid of that Galar Articuno, so it is now a 3v2, so Aaron able to get the revenge kill there on the Galar Articuno, and the biggest attacking threat is down for Latvian. Or so we thought, as in comes the Airshrew, and there is the Mawile. Looks to be the Mega Mawile as well, so this could get spicy. Is there going to be an Intim coming out? Maybe not, Aaron's maybe thought that he doesn't want to activate no competitive on the Galar Articuno, and he's going to leave that Intim at home. Ashrew's going to switch out into the Mawile. Crunch coming out, and that Fungus gets a little bit of damage away. The play rough into Fungus as well as resist, but still gets a decent amount of damage. Spore is going to put the Mawile asleep. It is Mega Mawile, and Fungus really just putting in the work for Latvian so far, but Aaron is not out of this yet. There's 2 Mons still with full HP, and 2 support Mons facing them that can't really do anything. There's always a chance that you could get the one-time wake up with the Mawile as well, so is RNG going to favour the RNGesus himself? Mr. Bime going to stay asleep. There's the cross poison just shaping away at Fungus himself. Mawile is going to stay asleep this time, and another spot comes out. So is this going to allow Lat to switch in the Airshrew again and just really just start laying in the hits to the Mawile and the Drapion? In comes Airshrew then. Is Mawile going to stay asleep? Drapion's asleep, but the Mawile is going to wake up. There's a player of it. Oh, Airshrew switches right into that. It's going to get taken down to its sash. Of course, Airshrew is going to have the speed advantage over Mawile here, so if it's able to get enough damage off, it might be able to chip away at it and get rid of it, but I'm not sure close combat's going to do enough, is it? No, down to 32%, so it does hang on to Airshrew. Going to go down, you would think, at this time as the rock slide comes out. It's going to take out the Airshrew and gets a big chip damage away to Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime stays asleep for yet another turn. This Mr. Mime has took a long nap, and Latvian now just left with 2 supports. So meanwhile, Aaron's, 2 sweep Mons. Mawile's just sort of in a really comfy spot here next to the Drapion, just hoping that the Drapion wakes up soon. There is the wake up from the Mr. Mime. He's going to come out the Icy Wind, try and slow things down on Aaron's side. What can Fungus really do? Fungus can take the hit from the play rough. He's going to put the Mega Mobile back to sleep, so he's just slowing Aaron down, and just all he's going to be able to do is just slowly chip away at those health bars. And he's just got to hope he can get the damage down and just hope that Aaron's monster asleep. But Drapion is going to wake up, gets the cross poison off. There goes Fungus, and this is going to be game one. Aaron, Mr. Mime's not going to have enough in his tank to take it down. Maybe a bit too support heavy on that side, able to take be taken full advantage of by Aaron, and Aaron going to take the lead in this one and takes game one 1-0 into game two. We go then. And this is, you've got to think this is just the beginning, lads. Not going to go down that easy. Again, just a Latvian leading a little bit differently now. He's got the Gengar and the Mr. Man. Aaron sticking with his guns and keeps out the Crobat and Drapion lead. Drapion lead from game one. So knows the fake outs on Mr. Man. Again, Gengar's in a little bit of a scary spot facing down that Drapion. Drapion with any kind of dark move is going to really hurt that Gengar. Even the Mega's going to have a hard time living any kind of dark type attack. There is the Mega from the Gengar. Fake out comes out into that Drapion. What can Gengar do? Taunt comes out from the Crobat. Then there's a Thunderbolt into the Drapion. So maybe thought Aaron was going to go for a switch in the Pelipper there. Always just looking to try and get some damage off on the Drapion. It's maybe the only attack he had that was going to sort of hit it hard. Or potentially the T-Bolt was intended for the Crobat and he's made a misclick there. Who knows? But a little bit of damage away at that drop. I mean, it's caused him so many problems. He was just alive for all of the times last game. So he needs to try and get rid of it. There is the tailwind from Crobat. Crunch. It's going to take Gengar down to 7%. It's just about hangs on. Thunderbolt is going to take Crobat down to 8%. And the Icy Wind is going to get rid of it. So breaks his sash and gets rid of it in the same time. So Latvian with the Mon advantage and slows Drapion down. Not that it needed slowing down really much, facing off against the Gengar here, but does put Latvian in a pretty strong position. Now in comes Pelipper with its rain. Not going to enjoy taking the Thunderbolt from that Gengar there, but see, that's also very well that Drapion is going to be able to take out his Gengar this turn if he doesn't take care of it. Gengar got to do some big damage to Drapion there. I would think it's probably only T-Bot. He's going to switch out. In comes the Galar Articuno again. There's the Icy Wind from Pelipper. It's going to slow down the Articuno, but it's going to activate the competitive. So great switch in there from Latvian. Whether he intended it or not, I don't know. But Cross Poison going to get some good damage away at Mr. Mime, and Icy Wind comes out the other way from Lat. So Articuno's in a very, very exciting spot now with that 2-time special attack boost. Aaron will have not enjoyed that thing switching into a stat drop move like that. Follow Me comes out from the Mr. Man. There's the Crunch. Mr. Man going to go down then. There's the Hydro Pump on the Galar Articuno. Oh, that's a big hit. Articuno with the Hurricane is going to take out the Drapion, and it is now a 3v2. So Latvian giving himself that on advantage again. And it is Pelipper. What is the final Mon in the back? In comes the Urshifu, and his Mawile is the final Mon. We already know that is the Mega. Despite the question mark in the nickname, it is definitely the Mega. And what can Urshifu do here? We saw the CC didn't quite do enough to Mawile, but obviously Urshifu does get quite a few sort of powerful punch moves, Ice Punch, Thunder Punch. So it has a little bit of quite a few good moves in its locker. See, Pelipper 4 times weak to electric moves, so Urshifu potentially in a good position here to take out the Pelipper. There's the Mega. There's the Thunder Punch from the Urshifu, going to take out the Pelipper, and all of a sudden it's left up to Mawile. Crunch is going to come out, it's going to activate that Cobble Berry, but it's not going to matter as Articuno is going to go down anyway. It's now a 2v1. It's all up to Mega Mawile to try and get this game too, but this looks like it's Latvians for the taking. So we saw how much CC did last time, and the sort of CC and any kind of Gengar attack here, I think it's going to be more than enough. It's going to bring Latvian back into this one. It's going to be the first game that Aaron has dropped since last season against the Bully Boys. There's the the Thunderbolt. There's the close combat, going to get rid of Mowal, and Latvia going to tie us up at 1 apiece. Of course, it had to be a game 3, and we go into this deciding game. Let's see who's going to take the win in this opener. Then Latvian get a very, very strong boost there from the Icy Wind, and Airshrew really putting in the work with that Thunder Punch. Latvian goes back to the game 1 lead of Articuno and the Mr. Mime. Aaron sticking with his guns, that Crobat and Dropion. We saw how much of an issue that Dropion was in game 1, so I do not blame him at all for that one. Aaron knows the fake out's coming, but I don't think he's too concerned, to be honest, because he knows that Dropion is more than comfortable enough to sort of take the hit and be able to give the damage back. Can Aaron land it? He doesn't. He misses a Hypnosis. Aaron missing a Hypnosis. The Icy Wind is going to break the sash on the Crobat as well. There's a Freezing Glare going to get rid of Crobat on turn 1, so no Tailwind going up, and Cross Poison. Mr. Mime's going to take down a half HP, so it's a great start from Latvian. But the Hypnosis miss. It's the first time he's missed it this season. And Aaron's starting up and Mon down once again, but again, I don't think he's too concerned that Crobat's going down early doors as long as it does its job, but it hasn't really been able to in that first turn, so be interesting to see how he brings this one back. What's he going to switch in? It is the Rillaboom then, so Rillaboom switching back in, bringing that grassy terrain up. Knows if he doubles into the Gala Articuno here, he can potentially take it out, but obviously Latvian does have a few options to switch in, but the Mega Gengar is not going to enjoy switching into a dark type attacks. So it's going to be what is in the back. Is it going to be the Fungus, the Airshrew? Is Primarina going to make an appearance? I would strongly doubt it, knowing Rillaboom is kicking around. I really thought Typhlosion was going to come for Latvian here. And Mowal switches in for the Ribble. There is the Quick Guards, thinks the fake out's coming. Freezing Glare, that's some big damage to Mowal. The Cross Poison is going to get rid of Mr. Mime, and Aaron ties us up at 3 Mons apiece. So Grassy Terrain going to remain up and going to give some HP back to the Dropion and the Mowal as well. And in comes the Fungus then, so Fungus got to start putting in the heavy lifting work against as a support mon next to Articuno. So be interested to see what that final mon is for Latvian again. Is it going to be the Airshrew or is it going to be the Gengar's Mowal? Goes for Mega. There's his Shadow Ball. Mowal able to tank that knockoff. Is going to take the Articuno's health down a little bit. And there's a Rock Slide going to get rid of the Articuno. The Mowal with that Rock Slide and gets the flinch on the Fungus. That flinch could be huge here. As it is now, Aaron has the Mon advantage and he's completely turned that one around in 1 turn, and now it's all up to Airshrew and Fungus, and Mowal's in a very good spot here, knows the close combat is probably coming, but if you can break that sash on the Airshrew, is in such a good spot, with Rillaboom in the back, the Grassy Glide priority, Airshrew will have no answer for it, and if Lat does go for a CC, he's going to drop his defenses. So Latvian back against the wall in this one. How huge could that flinch end up being? You would got to expect Latvian was going for the Spore there with the Fungus, try and put something to sleep. It was a very, very spicy turn for it's Mowal in a very, very good spot here. You think if Aaron maybe goes for the Protect here so he can hit, get damage off of that Dropion. Of course, Rage probably may come out from that Fungus, so that's one thing he does have to watch out for, but you would think Latvian's gonna go on the offensive with the Mowal and try and take out its biggest threat. Aaron knows he's got to break that sash on the Airshrew. It doesn't matter how much damage he gets off to it, it's going to live on the 1% and be able to get a hit off, and that thing packs a punch. It is a long one, this one. Mind games really coming out. There is the close combat, comes out some more while gonna take its hit and goes down. It is now a 2v2. There's a cross poison going to break the sash, and Eshru takes the hit with the defense drop, and the spore comes out as Drapion goes to sleep, but now in comes the Rillaboom. Again, Fungus can't really touch the Rillaboom apart from with Pollen Puff. Is there going to be a detect or protect on Eshru and try and keep it hanging around to be able to take out Drapion later on? Could be it. There's a Grassy Glide onto the Eshru, is now all up to Fungus. It looks to be like Aaron is going to take this one. There's Pollen Puff, was going to go for the heal on his Eshru, but moves too slow, and down it goes. And Latvia now really in a spot. It looks to be that the Surfers are going to take this one. There's a Dark Sorry, because all Aaron can do is slowly just chip away at this thing, and Fungus going to reply back with its own Pollen Puffs. Grassy terrain does heal up the Rillaboom one last time before it ends though. And is about to take his first defeat of the season. Meanwhile, the Aaron train keeps on chugging along. Is Drapion going to wake up? No, stays asleep. Pollen Puff. Latvia's just trying to hang on with everything he's got, but it's not going to be enough. And Aaron going to take this one 2-1. Rillaboom just slowly chipping away. There's the wake up. Drapion gets the job done. Not quite. It's 2%. It just doesn't want to go down. Move on to 10, number 9. Is this thing either going to die? There it is. Rillaboom gets the killing blow. 2-1 to the Inglorious Surfers. What a sensational game between those two. Aaron getting a little bit of revenge for that Season 1 playoffs loss that he took to Latvian all those seasons ago, and moves to 5-0. Still unbeaten. Has not dropped a match since last season. It's just this guy. What a guy. GG's to both ways. You know, it was always going to be a doozy, that one. And Latvian really did put up a big fight, and a good fight. It was a really exciting match to watch, but not quite able to get the job done in the end. But I'm sure Latvian will be back with a bang as always. Up next then, boys, it is the Battle of Wales. It is the Welsh Warriors taking on the Crimmock Colossals. Of course, we saw Matrix take a win over the Beauty Boys last week on. Crimmock Colossals took a defeat to Dogsy Shadow Kings after having a nice little winning streak going on, the 2-game winning streak. Starting to show a little bit of momentum, and unfortunately losing out to the Shadow Kings last season. So Dr. Dave going to be looking to try and get back to winning ways and try and put a stop to the Welsh Warriors momentum. You know, the Steel Monotype team is just putting in the work. That heat run is just an absolute terror, and I think heat run's going to be sort of one of the keys to victory here for Matrix. You know, there's not a whole lot of answers on that Colossals team outside of Dracovish for that heat run, and I think if Matrix is able to get the sun up, then Dr. Dave's in a bit of a spot. You know, of course, Dave does have a lot of weather setters on his team. He's got the Vinugs, has got the Hippopotamus, able to set weathers there, and of course, ones like Dracovish, Excadrill, Arctozolt, Sandslash, able to take full advantage of those weathers being up and be able to play around with the likes of the Kangaskhan. I think again at Kangaskhan, your Butterfrees are going to be really, really huge here for Dr. Dave. Maybe try and get something to sleep, or the fake outs here. Just if Matrix decides to go sort of uber on the offensive with the heat run, which is very much not Matrix's style. Likes to play the sort of slow and methodical way typically, but could see Kanga put in the work here. This could even be a game for Shedinja. I know heat run is a threat, but if Dave's able to take out that heat run, then Shedinja even may be a bit of a threat to that Warriors side. But no, I think Klefki and heat run are going to be really, really strong here, and something like the Metagross is primed in a really good spot here as well. Even like the likes of the Aggron, wall a lot of what Dave wants to do, and those steel typings really going to hit those ice types real hard, and the likes of the Togepi as well. So this is probably going to be one of Dr. Dave's harder matchups to fight, despite it being a monotype team. A lot of answers to what he has on that Welsh Warriors team. But without further ado, boys and girls, let's get into this one. It is the Welsh Warriors taking on the Crimmock Colossals then. Big shout out to Matrix for recording this one for us. And Matrix does lead out with the heat run and the Klefki then, and Dr. Dave with the Butterfree and Kangaskhan. So Kangaskhan coming in does see that the potential there was there for the sort of hyper offense, and Kangaskhan going to offer that fake out pressure, and Butterfree of course going to offer its own pressure in the form of Sleep Powder. Of course, Klefki can use likes a T-Wave, the weather set to its own advantage. You can see there Matrix hovering over that safeguard move. Could be really, really useful here to stop Butterfree from sort of causing a bit of terror with those Sleep Powders. The Heat Runners can switch out in because the Fortress safeguard does go up. Sleep Powder going to be blocked by that, and there's the Circle Frog, but Circle Frog going to miss on the Kangaskhan. So Dr. Dave with a bit of a game plan there, not quite working out. Matrix with the answer thanks to the safeguard, and the Circle Throw missed them. That's maybe thrown Dr. Dave's plan off a little bit, so that's a huge 10-1 for the Klefki and Matrix switching out that Heat Run results. Fortress making its first appearance since week 1. And now Klefki can start putting in the work with, possibly like even a switcheroo, Iron Ball or Lightning Tail, or like I said, can get those T-Waves off. Fortress looking to use that rock slide, try and get rid of Butterfree here. Butterfree pretty defensively weak. There's the T-Wave into Kanga. Kanga not going to make it, but Butterfree is going to get the tailwind of rock slide. Not going to quite take out Butterfree, but gets a good damage, some good damage off on Kanga. Unfortunately, going to be parried that turn. And it's a very, very good start for Matrix. Very strong start, but no mons down as of yet. Protect coming out from that Butterfree, and Dave trying to keep that thing kicking around. There's a Jerry Ball, and Kanga gets some good damage with a second throw. Is going to hit the Fortress and going to switch something in. In comes the Heat Run, and that's maybe not what Dr. Dave will have been wanting to see. We know Heat Run on that team likes to run the Choice Scarf and has been an absolute nightmare thus far with those eruptions, just taking things out left, right, and centre. And Kanga and Butterfree not going to stand a chance. Matrix might even set up the Sunny Day here just to give it that little bit of extra spice. Hippo just switching, though, going to reset, change that weather just in case of the weather set from Klefki. Foul play going to come out from the Klefki instead. It's second floor is the Fortress. Fortress going to switch back out, and in comes the Heat Run again. It's just, it's like the hokey pokey here of Pokemon. The hokey Pokemon, you might say, is Fortress goes in, out, shakes it all about. And Matrix looking to unleash that eruption on the Heat Run. Going to take out the Hippo and the Kanga, and that's 2 mons down for Dave. Straight off the bat, the Heat Run putting in the work again. And now Dave very much on the back foot with Butterfree on very low HP, and Dracovish, the last bastion of hope. Safeguard has ended here though. But Heat Run is in a very, very good spot to be able to at least take out the Butterfree, and Under the Sun is still going to get probably some pretty good damage away to Dracovish. Klefki, of course, with that foul play is going to be able to be a bit of a menace to that Dracovish as well. Vish with the Vicious Rends is not going to get much damage away Under the Sun. Fortress going to switch back out there, no second throw to change it around. Dracovish going to get hit by that T-Wave. Tailwind going to come out from the Butterfree. There's the Vicious Rend. So it gets a little chunk of damage away to the Fortress, despite it being in the Sun. It is leftovers Fortress, so Fortress going to take back some of that HP. There's the Sleep Powder from the Butterfree's Klefki, going to take on that Fortress. Going to go down to the Dragonfish's Vicious Rend. Vish has been so strong for Dr. Dave thus far this season. And now in comes the Aggron then, so it looks to be that's Matrix's mega option this week. Mega Aggron is very, very strong defensively, so that Dracovish is going to have a real hard time getting damage away off on that thing while the Sun is up. Protect going to come out. Klefki is going to get the one-time wake up, gets the Safeguard off as well, stops the Sleep Powder coming out. Vicious Rend going to get blocked by the Protect on that Aggron as well. Aggron does go for it to Mega Butterfree, going to protect Vicious Rend. Still does a tiny bit of damage, it's not bad on the Sun Foul play. And the Rock Slide going to hit the Vish, take it down to about half HP. As the Sand is going to finally end. Vish now parried as well, so there's always the risk of parry hits, but it really can't do anything here to the Aggron or the Klefki. Polymorph going to come out just to heal itself back up, so smash up there from Dev. But foul play going to come out. There's the Vicious Rend into Aggron. Rockside is going to miss the Vicious time, but it is going to get rid of the Butterfree. Now is a 1v3. Dracovish with it all to do. Sunny Day comes out from the Klefki. Vish is going to be parried this time, and there's the body press from the Aggron. There's some big damage off on the Vish. And this one looks to be Matrix's for the taking. He's going to take this game number 1 over the Criminal Colossals in this Battle of Wales. And we're going to move on to game number 2 then. So he's seen the Sleep Powder threat and made full use of that with the Klefki using those safeguards. Just a little bit of a screw freeze there. We're going to come back into the action. There we are. The heat run. Klefki leading again as Dave goes on the hyper offense with the extra and direct division. You maybe expect the hippo to switch in, so extra can either make full use of sand force or sand rush. And heat runs not primed in a great position to deal with that from the Excadrill. Even with the choice scarf, you know, if it is sand rush, it's going to get a big speed boost. And heat run not going to enjoy any kind of ground move from Excadrill. That is for sure. Are we going to see a switch out from Ericsson? There is Fortress going to switch in. Hippo going to switch in for Dr. Davison. There it is. Thunderwave going to come out. It's hit the Hippo spot. High horsepower into Fortress. That's just bug type and not going to take too much damage off that. And now Matrix is going to be able to just sort of switch up the weather with Klefki. Play the guessing game on that one, which the spot was going to come in. There's the foul play from Klefki. It's a big damage away. The extra, the high horsepower from the Hippo. Not going to quite do enough. Klefki can go for the screens now. Try and reduce that damage the Excadrill and potentially the Vish later on is putting out. I think Fortress is probably going to go down this time. But there's potentially Matrix not too bothered. Doesn't allow him to get the free switch in. Does take down foul play though. Going to take out the Excadrill. And Yawn comes out from the Hippo. And Klefki now potentially going to take a nap in this next turn as Vish switches in. In comes the Empoleon. Empoleon, a pretty good answer for that Hippo, and of course Vish not going to be able to do too much to said Empoleon. And now the Excadrill is gone. It's one of the big answers to Empoleon gone as well. Safeguard comes out. There's a vicious friend into Klefki. Gonna pop that balloon. Liquidation in the Hippopotamus. That's some big damage away. And there's the high horsepower. It's going to reveal the Sugar Berry on the Empoleon. And Klefki going to go asleep. Despite the safeguard coming up, of course, he got yawned the time before. So not going to allow it from stopping it to go to sleep. So Dave's in a good spot here with that Klefki asleep. Of course, last game, Klefki got the 1-10 wake up. So you never know. Merrick's may roll the dice with that RNG. Sand being up is very good news for that Vish, not so much good news than Empoleon. So Merrick's got to take care of that Hippo as quickly as he can, try and weather the storm, so you might say. Kangaskhan going to switch into the Hippo spot. Klefki does stay asleep. There's the Vicious Friend just slowly chipping away. That Klefki's rock slide from the Empoleon is going to miss. Not going to do quite as much to Vish though. And now Sand has indeed ended. Kanga on the field though. Been a little bit of a war attrition with the switch-ins so far. You know, both players making some great reads in this game. Klefki is going to indeed work up there's the Thunderwave into that Vish. Brick Break going to come out from the Kanga, going to break that screen and gets a big damage away. Empoleon, Dragonwitch going to get rid of the Klefki. There's a liquidation in that Kanga spot as well. And takes a good chunk of damage now. In comes Heat Run, and Empoleon versus the Wild Vish, of course, powered, so Heat Run's in a very good spot to try and get some damage away. There's the Aqua Check, just a little bit of damage away. Kangaskhan, there's the Dragon Pulse. Vish going to hang on though. Brick Break going to get rid of that Empoleon, and now it's all up to Heat Run. So the Vish, you may have missed there, unfortunately Mary did skip the end of that time. I think Vish was unfortunately powered, so unable to move. There's a Dragon Pulse, is going to get rid of Vish as it is a 2v2, but Kanga takes it, gets the hit in on the Heat Run. And this one looks to be Dr. Dave tying us up. The Brick Breaks on the Kangaskhan proving to be the killing blows. And Heat Run now, of course, with the choice item, it is locked into that Dragon Pulse. It's got to take one. Kangaskhan going to live that, and Brick Break going to get the job done. And there's a 1-1, and we move on to yet another game 3 then. So what has Matrix got the answer for that one then? I said both players playing that really smart with those switch-ins. And Matrix switching up and going for the Klefki and Skarmory this time, so maybe going for the Tailwind on the Skarmory. And Dr. Dave leading the line with the extra and the Kangas. We've got Kanga with that fake out pressure. Potentially going to go for that Skarmory, try and stop it from getting the Tailwind up early doors. Klefki going to go straight on the down the annoying route, go for a Thunder Wave you would think, or maybe screens, just try and keep something alive. no Butterfree lead this time, so Matrix will be breathing a little bit of a sigh of relief now, because we saw how much those foul players did extra last time round, so could even go down that route, which it looks to be where we're going with this one. Hippo gonna switch in comes the Astral to set it up. There's the Iron Head, not gonna quite do that much to Klefki, but does at least spot the balloon and gets the all-important flinch. Skarmory goes for the Iron Defense, so you're potentially gonna see those body presses coming out from Skarmory. So, you know, Matrix running a bit more of an offensive set on that thing. Try and get the big damage off those body presses. You know, fight a lot of fighting type weakness on Dr. Dave's team, so smart choices there. Safeguard is going to go up. There's the Iron Head. Klefki does manage to hang on. Body press going to get rid of the extra drills. Grace up there, and Yawn going to be blocked by that Safeguard. So smart stuff there from Matrix. Good reads. Seeing that Hippo switching in. And now is a 3v4s. Now in comes the Kangaskhan then. Kangaskhan not going to enjoy taking a body press. And you think maybe you're going to have to go and try and fake out the Skarmory and go on the offensive with the Hippopotas. Sunny Day comes out, reset the weather, goes for another item as a high horsepower, going to miss it. Heat Run going to switch in, set for the Klefki then on that next turn. Not too sure what what happened that last time in terms of Kangaskhan. Skarmory now switching back in. Matrix playing the switch as Eruption comes out. It's going to get rid of the Kangaskhan. Hippo takes a big hit as well, and high horsepower. That's a great read there from Matrix, seeing the high horsepower coming out. Skarmory not going to take damage, and now Vish switches in under the sun. No switch-ins for Dave, so he's stuck without the sand. And this is a bit of a spicy position for Dr. Dave to be in, because Heat Run is locked into that Eruption. Eruption comes out. Is it going to do the damage to Vish? No, Vish is going to resist that. Vish is rendered into the Skarmory. He's going to get a big hit, and Iron Defense goes up for the Sky as well. There's a body press is going to start coming out. Hippo, you would think, is going to go down this turn, so looks in a very strong position for Matrix. Is he going to go to 4-1? There is the Eruption, takes out the Hippos. It's all up to Vish in the 1v4. Fish just come and gets some big damage to Heat Run. There's a roost on Skarmory, but Matrix looks to have this all the same. You know, one hit from the Skarmory is going to take it out. There's the Eruption, a little bit chip away to Dracovish. Vicious Wrench is going to finally get rid of the Heat Run, but Body Press going to get the job done, and Matrix takes this one 2-1 then. So great stuff there. What a game that was to witness. The switch-ins and the reads were just on point in that game from both players, and you wouldn't expect anything else from those guys. You know, they've really proved themselves so far this season, and Matrix is really putting in the work with that steel monotype team, so always nice to see. But GG's to both players. Matrix has said moving on to that 4-1 record then, and hasn't lost a game in 2 games as well, so exciting to see that. On to our game number 3 then. It is the South Croydon Saws taking on the Long Island Goomies. So we've got a rinse and repeat of the Season 3 Playoffs Losers Final. Of course, Crizzle taking that one in a 2-0 fashion to set himself up with that grand final against Aaron. So Silly going to be on the revenge path to try and, you know, try and get that W, try and get that one over on Crizzle. But Crizzle, of course, on a little bit of a losing streak at the minute, has lost 3 on the trot, so it's going to be wanting to put a stop to the rot. Silly, as I said earlier, a little bit of topsy-turvy form, you know, sort of winning one, losing one, winning one, losing one. So again, it's going to want a little try and get a bit of consistency going. But it's a bit hard one to call this one. You know, the Moltres Galar and the likes of the Tapu Bulu are, you know, I've got really good answers for a lot of what Silly wants to do. You know, the Bulu's a good answer for the sort of the rain sort of setters. Moltres Galar going to be really good into the likes of that Venu. You know, the likes of the Goodra as well going to be a good answer to Torkoal. So potentially the sort of electric duo comes out from Silly. Silly's got to sort of play around the heavy sweepers on Chris's team here, I think, and try and bring something maybe a bit out of the ordinary. You know, may see Minyo come in, try and wreak havoc once again for Silly. You know, we're seeing a lot out of that thing, and I think Electabuzz with its follow me's are going to prove to be really, really vital. Could see Comfey coming along again, try and just, well, not only act as support, but you know, there's 2 different options there to set up, you know, either a weakness policy or something along those lines. You know, it's really good at doing that in this format and just in general. And of course, in this format, just get access to Tailwind as well as Trick Room. So 2 options for speed control for Chris to go for. You know, may choose to bring some form of item to stop the Venusaur going for the sleep powers, or we might see, you know, the safety goggles coming out, just to try and alleviate the sort of threat that I think is what I said. A few things on that South Croydon Saws lineup that sort of really cause a headache for Venusaur. So be very interesting to what Silly has got lined up to take out their Chris's team. But anyway, guys, I'm going to stop my little rambling. Let's get into this one. It is the South Croydon Saws taking on the Long Island Goomies then. So Silly has got the Sableye, Electabuzz, Torkoal, Venu, Tyrantrum, and Mignon is going to lead the line with the Electabuzz and Mignon. Crizzle with the Comfey and Goodra has got the Cresselia, the Hitmonlee, Tapu Bulu, and Galar Moltres in the back then. What has Comfey got up his locker then? Are we going to see that Weakness Policy proc? And are we going to see the Shell Smash from Minion? There's a Draining Kiss, so it is going to be a Weakness Policy proc on the Goodra then. Follow me because after the Electabuzz, Shell Smash on that Minion. Is Minion about a wreck house? Again, Whitehead going to reverse those stats back to normal. Muddy Water comes out from the Goodra and down goes Minion. Does actually end up missing the Electabuzz, but Chris was well set up for just in case that Follow Me caused an issue. Smart stuff there from Chris in the team builder. Now in comes the Venu. Is there a Torkoal lying in the back? You know, does he gonna be able to give, you know, get that switch in, activate the Sun, activate that Chlorophyll ability, and allow Venu to go faster? Or is it going to be the Mega Venu variant? You know, really get the damage up, but gotta be careful just in case that Goodra is Sap Sipper. You know, it's always gonna be in the back of the Silly's mind. There's the T-Wave onto the Goodra, so gonna slow it down and Sludge Bomb into that Comfey, gets a big hit, but the Tailwind gonna go up from the Comfey, and Chris obviously expecting the Weather Ball, expecting the Sun to go up with the Torkoal switch in, goes to the Weather Ball, not going to do too much to Venu, but you know, did cover off for the switch in at least, and only taking the T-Wave back as the Alice switch comes out from the Comfey. There's the Follow Me. The Goodra going to take that Sludge Bomb, no problem. The Dragon Pulse going to get some big damage off the Electabuzz, and it is just 100 miles per hour this game. You know, Goodra's paralysis is offset by that Tailwind, but you know, thus far, no Torkoal switching in again. Silly's going to have to be, you know, it's going to be in the back of his mind there. He's got to be careful that just in case that Weather Ball comes out, if he goes for the Torkoal switching, or if Torkoal is at all in the back, you know, you're going to just bump up. That's forward healing going to give Goodra back to full speed. There's the Follow Me. Sludge Bomb into that slot, maybe expecting the Alice switch against Dragon Pulse is going to take out the Electabuzz. It is now a 4v2. There is the Torkoal, and the Venu is in a world of trouble here. You already know that Weather Ball is running on that Goodra, and this thing is just wrecking house. It's already got 2 kills to its name so thus far. An ally switch on that Comfey, really playing well into Chris's strat here, and just Silly with no answer for that Goodra. You know, I said you want something like the Venu to do the damage, but you know, when Sap Sip is running, there's the Weather Ball from the Goodra, gonna get rid of the Venu. Eruption to come out, it is gonna get rid of that Comfey, but Goodra gonna comfortably take that hit. And now it's Torkoal versus the world. What is in the back for Crizzle to try and take out this Torkoal? He brings in the Cresselia then. Now, you've got to think Cresselia maybe gonna start going for those Calm Minds and you know, be able to comfortably take out the Torkoal. There is Calm Mind from the Cresselia. Dragon Pulse is going to just all-core the Torkoal. It just doesn't stand a chance of that special tap boost. And Goodra with the ace is going to give Crizzle the lead in this one. And are we going to see another Crizzle 2-0? And it leads the same way, no changes. And Silly leading this time with Sableye and Venus. So Sableye maybe going to go for the fake out here, or potentially a quash on that Goodra, just so Silly can get something away on it. And Draining Kiss comes out, is going to activate that Weakness Policy. Of course, Comfey with that trade ability is going to mean it goes faster. Goes to the fake out, and Sleep Powder is going to put the Comfey asleep though. But there's the Dragon Balls in the Sableye, and Goodra takes yet another kill. And now in comes the Electabuzz then for Silly. Goodra really putting in the work here. You know, it's not maybe what would be my first option for what I would have brought here, but Chris is making full use of it. Electabuzz, do you think it's got to go for the Follow Me? Just try and keep that Venu going. Does go for the T-Wave though. Sludge Bomb, it's going to get some big damage away at that Comfey, which is going to stay asleep this time. There's a Dragon Pulse. Venu just hangs on with 2% HP. So no Follow Me there, and Venu just allowed to take the hit, and it just about survives. You've got to think maybe Mega Venu does more enough damage to Comfey. The Electabuzz is going to get rid of Comfey. There's the Sludge Bomb into Goodra. It's going to get the job done and take out yet another Mon with Venu. So it's now a 3v2. Crizzle really in the driver's seat here. What is the final Mon for Silly? It is Minior then. And now in comes the Tapu Bulu. Sets up the grassy terrain. So that Gudra and everything else on the field is going to be getting some HP back per time. Follow Me goes out from the Electables. There's his Shell Smash goes up for Minyo. Going to allow its stats to return to normal. Rock Slide comes out from the Tapu Bulu, gets some big damage with Minyo. There is the Paralysis. The Paralysis does finally proc on that Gudra, and Shield Down going to activate on that Minyo. Sets out that Minyo's in a bit of a scary position. You know that Gudra runs Muddy Water, so Follow Me's a little bit, a bit of a waste on the Electables, to be honest. But Minyo potentially now going to be able to at least take something out. Follow Me is going to come out. There's the Acrobatics on the Bulu. Takes out the Bulu. Muddy Water going to hit both. Minyo goes down and is all up to Electables now in a 1v2. Gudra about to get a second ace potentially here. And Cresselia is the final one for Chris, of course. Cresselia again potentially just goes to the setup of the Carmine just to enable it to do as much damage to that Electables as it can. There's the Thunderbolt. Cresselia just not at all bothered. There's the Icy Wind into Electabuzz just to slow it down. Power does proc on the Gudra again then. And Gudra is stopped for now. I think Chris has more than comfortably took this one. Just silly with absolutely no answer to that Gudra. What an absolute monster it's been. Such a wide variety of moves as well. The Weather Ball, Muddy Water, the Dragon Pulse has really been strong here. Parrot is going to proc again. Is this Silly's way back into it? I don't think so, but while that Cresselia is calm-minded, but Gudra stays still for yet another time. It's saved up all those paralyses for now, while Crizzle's trying to get the killing blow. I don't think it's going to matter though. Eventually he's going to get it. Carmine goes off again for Cresselia, but there's the Dragon Ball from the Gudra. Finally gets the job done, and Crizzle takes it 1-2-0 and ends that rotten run of 3 games without a win. Gets back to winning ways, and Silly with another defeat moves to 2-3 along with Crizzle. So GG's to both players. I was really trying to wrap my brains of how Silly might run that one, and I said he said afterwards that he was just so concerned for Sapsipper that Venu was kind of rendered useless, and with Chris setting up that weakness policy, there was not a lot you could do about it. With Gudra just hitting so hard. So GG's to both players, and GG's to Crizzle. Gets that win that he needed going into the second half of the season. Really need that second win, so that's good to see. But on our 4th game of the week then, it is the Bulu boys taking on the Swindon Rookadies then. So last time round, the Bulu boys, the Swindon Rookadies, the Bulu boys took it a 2-0. Of course, it is Wio, aka Mr. Hop, piloting this team for now, is subbing in. And of course, Mr. Hop giving the Rookadies their first win of the season last week against the aforementioned South Croydon Saws we just watched. So, is it the Jurgen Hop effect? Is he about to bring them back to winning ways here and, try and make them climb the table before his job is done? But that Rookadies side, it's strong. Don't get me wrong, it's very, very strong. There's a lot of special attacking threat in that Scizor with that technician ability, especially the Mega. It's such a physical sort of attacking prowess, but it's so support heavy that there's you can always guarantee that there's going to be at least 3 out of them top 4 there going to be coming. The Darkrai, Kingdra, Scizor, Meowstic sort of quad of Mons, and then typically something like the Shaman, Togetic, Linu or Marowak has been the sort of trend. Wio has booked that trend as of recent, got really big usage out of the Darkrai last week, so Darkrai has one hell of a wide move pool, so the Bulu boys, myself, gonna have to watch out for that. But Entei, it's gonna be primed really, really well for this one, I think. Just it pairs really well in that Scizor and Shaman, and the only real answer to it is the Kingdra. Of course, they're gonna have to be watch out for Meowstic with his prime ability, potentially going to set up those rain dances for Kingdra to get the job done, and then not gonna be able to live a water type attack under the rain, but maybe does set up the Blastoise. Of course, Mega Blastoise with that Mega Launcher ability, we saw it in week 1. It's sort of its sweeping prowess. You can't leave that thing unchecked. Those pulse moves going to be getting the boost as well from that ability. And it's going to be interesting to see if the Rookadies can put a stop to that. I think Darkrai does get the likes of T-Bolt, so maybe that's the answer there. we shall certainly see. Of course, Persian Lola as well, or Jirachi, I think paired mix is one of those sweeper ones. Either a fake out or follow me support is going to be strong here. Just try and keep that attacking threat away, you know, the Darkrai, Kingdra, Scizor away from whatever is trying to sweep. You know, potentially something like the Phalanx, the Maractus could be good in this game, you know, with that Storm Drain, just to stop that Kingdra from putting in the work and taking out the Entei and just allowing Entei to do what it needs to do. But anyway, guys, let's get into our fourth game of the week. It is the Voodoo Boys taking on the Swindon Rookadies, and the Voodoo Boys have the Persian Warrior, Jirachi, Blastoise, Entei, Mesprit, and the Phalanx. Jürgen Hopper and his Rookadies, and the Darkrai, Meowstic, Scizor, Kingdra, Gliscor, and Togetic. So it is very much the same six we saw last week, but we saw how that one went. So is the Hop going to be able to get the win again in this one? Let's take the time to choose nuns. And into the game we go. Is Persian Lola leading next to the Blastoise? It's probably going to be the Mega Blastoise. And the Rookadies kicking these off with the Darkrai and Meowstic. So Meowstic with those quick guards and fake outs proved to be really, really strong. And the fake tears as well could really be a really big asset here to the Darkrai. And, you know, Darkrai has a wide move pool, and something like the fake tears with the Thunderbolt going to be enough to take out that Blastoise, even in its Mega form. It's not going to be able to comfortably live that. So that's maybe the answer here for Mr. Hop. Of course, Blastoise, we saw it running Aura Sphere against Dr. Dave in week 1, so it's something that Mr. Hop's going to have to be careful of, for that Aura Sphere going to be able to comfortably take out the Darkrai, you know, on the foot. There's the fake out, so the quick guard doesn't go off in time, so it's not the Prankster Meowstic, so it's a bit of a misplay there from Mr. Hop. And Aura Sphere going to be able to get rid of Darkrai early doors, and that's one of the main attacking threats gone on that Rookadee side. Blastoise gets the first kill on the board. Switching is in comes the Kingdra, so if it's not Prankster, then it's the Meowstic not going to be able to get the rain dance up in time. So is there going to be a protect ring on the Kingdra? Just allow that Meowstic to get the rain up and you know, allow Kingdra to do the work. But it's not really got an answer for that Blastoise that Kingdra. You know, potentially something like the Hurricane, try and get a confusion off and get some big damage off, and the Blastoise might be the best bet. But you know, it's got the Yellow and Persian next to it as well. You know, potentially for Icy Wind or, you know, fake tease of its own. A lot of options at Alolan Persian. Alolan Persian has been a very, very solid support money for both the Voodoo Boys and, of course, in the Championship Division for Rylect and his Kyogre Canucks. Trying to decide his best bet here. So there's no Prankster on that Meowstic, so a little bit of a misplay there. Blastoise looking very, very menacing. You know the amount of pulse moves this thing gets. You know, knows there's a Dragon Pulse there, there's an Aura Sphere, there's Water Pulse, there's Dark Pulse, which is going to be able to lead, if it's on there, is going to be able to do a Meowstic as well. There's the Icy Wind, try and get the speed down. Maybe that, you know, Voodoo Boy's expecting that rain that's coming out. Ice Beam not going to quite do enough. Dragon Pulse going to get rid of that Kingdra, and there is the Rain Dance. Unfortunately, not in enough time, and in comes Scizor. Then so Scizor at least set up well with the Rain Beam. Not means that any kind of fire attacks, if Entei is kicking around the back, not going to be able to quite do as much. We're about to see something like a Bullet Punch here. This Mega Blastoise might really get big damage off. Quick Guard coming come out from that Meowstic. There's the fake tears into there. RSV comes out, Mega Scizor just about hangs on. Bug Bite coming out from that Scizor, going to steal the Citrus Berry, so going to reveal the Citrus Berry on the Alolan Persian. And Garfield, the Alolan Persian, just about hanging on. Well, that's some big damage away to the Mega Scizor. Protect comes out from the Alolan Persian. Detect comes out from the Scizor. There's the Dark Pulse into Meowstic. Meowstic just about hanging on. Does reveal Thunderbolt on the Meowstic. So getting some little bit of chip damage away to Blastoise. But Blastoise really just putting in the work here. Reveals that Dark Pulse. Bullet Punch is going to get rid of the Alolan Persian. There's the Aura Sphere going to get rid of that Mega Scizor. So it's all up to Meowstic. It's just slowly chipping away that Blastoise's health. In comes the Entei then for the Voodoo Boys. This one looks to be the Voodoo Boys taking the lead in this one. Blastoise just proving to be too much for the Rookies, and down goes Meowstic to an extreme speed, and the lead goes to the Booty Boys. And so Mr. Hop gonna have to change things around for this game too, because there is a Togetic and Golisopod there. Togetic is a very, very strong support among those Follow Me's. Potential for yawns there or screen, and leads the line with the Togetic and Scizor. So Scizor gonna be able to kept sort of nice and comfortable next to the Togetic of the Booty Boys, switching things up with the Blastoise and Jirachi this time. Because Jirachi is a good support man in its own right with those Follow Me's. Helping Hand comes out, Detect from the Scizor. There's the Ice Beam. It's only going to do half damage to the Togetic, and out comes the Yawn from the Togetic. So that Blastoise now on a timer, a sleep timer. Got to try and get as much damage off as it can before it goes to sleep. Big amount of damage away at that Togetic, but not quite enough to get it down. Has revealed all moves on that Blastoise, and also some good information there from Mr. Hop. I'm not choosing to Mega on the first time, so Mr. Hop just choosing to just keep it alive. Know how strong of a sweeping one that's going to be, but not really paired too well into either direction. Blastoise in switches Darkrai, maybe reading the Icy Wind coming out, helping him from the Blastoise. There's the Aura Sphere. Scizor going to come to live that Bug Bite, gets some big damage off to the Blastoise, and Blastoise now going to go to sleep, and that is going to synergize really well. Because the bad dreams from Darkrai, its ability going to be doing slowly but surely a bit of chip damage away to Blastoise, and Darkrai now in a really comfortable position. If it's running that Thunderbolt or potentially a Dark Pulse, Jirachi and Blastoise really not going to stand a chance there. And Scizor going to be able to just clean up the sloppy seconds, so the sleep coming out is really, really huge for for Mr. Hop to play it around. The boys can do is try and hope for the one-time wake up and to be able to get some damage off that. Darkrai is going to be moving so fast. To expect the Follow Me to come out from Jirachi just in case that Blastoise is going to wake up. Protect comes out from the Scizor then, so no Bullet Punch. There's the Dark Pulse that gets a critical hit, and Jirachi does just about hang on. Blastoise going to stay asleep though, and now both ones on very low HP. So the Bullet Punch here from the Scizor probably going to do enough to either man. Follow Me comes out and says Jirachi is just going to take the hit, but Darkrai going to get the kill, and all of a sudden momentum is completely flipped, and Darkrai and Scizor really putting in the work, and it is now a 2v4. Entei and the Phalanx then, the final ones on this Booty Boy side, have it all to do. I do not know how Jirachi survived that, especially the crit, I'm not going to lie. So Phalanx then just makes its debut for the Booty Boys, the first time we've seen it on the field. Very, very risky bring in case that Kingdra's in the back. Kingdra is got type advantage over both these mons, and not so much type advantage. We know that Kingdra likes her own Hurricanes. It's going to deal with Phalanx, and of course any kind of water move into that Entei is going to be a problem for us. Entei doesn't really have too much of an answer for the Kingdra. Detect comes out from that Scizor. There's the first impression, gets a big damage away to the Darkrai. Dark Pulse not going to do a whole lot to the Phalanx, does resist that. Sacred Fire going to get blocked by that. Detect some smart reads there from the Hop. Seeing the attack was probably coming from the Entei into said Scizor. Scizor with that 4x fire weakness, not going to comfortably live any kind of fire attack there. We've already seen extreme speed on the Entei here, and it could be enough to sort of get the job done on that Darkrai. Because first impression only works that first turn out, so Phalanx one move down that it can't use. Extreme speed does come out, down goes the Darkrai, that's one, down at Bullet Punch. Oh, the Phalanx just hangs on, just going to reveal the Key Berry. Rock Slide comes out from the Entei. It does hit, and it takes the Scizor down to 7%, so there is an extreme speed. So maybe extreme speed is going to be the way to go here and try and level up the amount of mons. Mr. Hop got to take care of that Entei here. It's Togetic going to switch into the field. Tech comes out from that phalanx. There is Extreme Speed going to take care of the Mega Sizzle. Then so it is 2v2 with Follow Me. It's going to go afterwards, unfortunately. And Galaisapod is the final one for the Rookadi. So no Kingdra. But is that Galaisapod running Aquajet? You know, something like an Aquajet with Choice Band going to do so much damage to that Entei. We've seen that the Entei does have Rock Slide, which of course is going to be super effective against both the Galaisapod and Togetic here. So the Rookadi's not out of the woods yet, but also not out of it at all. But have no answer for the Entei thus far. Could be this where the tides turn. Protect is going to run that Entei, so I'm going to see maybe expecting that that Aquajet Sucker Punch. The Phalanx is going to hang on. There's the Rock Slide. It's going to take the Togetic down to 15%. Gets a little bit of chip damage away to the Galaisapod. Well, more than just chip damage, is a good amount of damage, quarter damage. I think Entei likely to go for the Extreme Speed here, just get rid of the Togetic. If it is a choice item, then that Galaisapod is now locked into Sucker Punch. Could be a choice item, or it could be an Assault Vest. Those are typically the items you see on that Galaisapod. Protect from the Phalanx, then seeing that Sucker Punch coming, the Togetic's going to take that Extreme Speed and it's going to go down. It says all of a sudden it is now a 1v2. Entei just one-man teaming this game number 2. No answer to those Extreme Speeds. You know, Phalanx just setting things up. It's going to go down that Sucker Punch, but the Stone Edge comes out from the Entei, and the Bully Boy is going to take this one 2-0. And there it is. Then Bully Boy's back to winning ways after taking that defeat last week. GG's to Mr. Hub. Yeah, no Prankster on Meowstic was really big there. I think Prankster's there. Game 1 definitely goes a little bit differently. But Entei, just what a beast. What a beast, that's all I would say. Great one. But yeah, it was a really fun match. That game 2 was really intense. I'm not going to lie, I really thought when it went down to 2 there it was going to be game, set and match, because I was very much expecting the Kingdra in the back, but it didn't come, and it was Aguero instead. Did breathe a sigh of relief, but yeah, always fun to play Mr. Hop. I'm sure you had some choice words for me that we won't be able to repeat on the show. But on our 5th match of the week, then, it is the Space City PC taking on the Tendo Melmetals. Then that's the first time these two have faced off against each other. Meme obviously debuting last season for season 3, and it is Kirky's first season, of course. Melmetals find themselves on a 2-game winning streak after losing out the first 2 matches. Of course, Meme still looking for that elusive first win. You know, finished 4th place last season in playoffs, and obviously 2nd in the regular season. So I think we've said it last week. It's quite surprising to see Meme in this position, but we know how talented Meme is. We know how strong he is, especially with the likes, running that Charizard. Expect to see him bounce back for sure. And it's gonna be exciting to see what he can do in that second half of the season once some trades get made. But I think Charizard is going to be really strong here. Against the Lucario Whimsicott, it's got really good type advantage there. And, Lucario not gonna be able to do too much to it. Of course, Lucario does have access to Rock Slides. That's maybe an answer he has for it, but it definitely could be a war of attrition. This one, we not like Meme likes to run the Carmine on the Tapu Fini, so Keki gonna have to be watchful of letting that Fini get set up on him. But the Melmetals have made very big use of some very unexpected mons. We saw Ambipom putting in the work the last couple of weeks. We've seen Kecleon, Jellicent be used. We've seen 2 different Megas in the form of Lucario and Latios, but does tend to sort of favour that Lucario. So it'll be very interesting to see which one comes here, because with 2 different fake out pressures, has got the Mienshao and Raichu. And of course in this gen, Raichu does get access to Follow Me, so that's maybe a route that Meme goes with this one. Just try and keep that damage away from something like the Charizard or the Tapu Fini, just so he can get the work done. Could be a game where Thievul comes as well, just try and get those stat drops on the likes of the Latios, and the special attacking threats on the Melmetals team. But it'll be very exciting to see what lineup Meme goes with this one. Is the Melmetals going to bring something out of the ordinary again? Every game thus far there's been something a bit different, so it's been nice to see the variety on that Melmetal squad. Kirky on that 2-game winning streak will be looking to continue that form and going into this game. But I'm going to stop my blabbering. Let's get into this one. So it is a replay game, so I will do my very best to keep up with it and keep commentating over the action. But let's get into this one. It is Space PC taking on the $10 Melmetals, and Meme kicking these off with that Mienshao and the Raichu then, and Kirky with the Latios and the Whimsicott. So Whimsicott going straight with the Protect, seeing the Fake Out coming as a double Protect, does read the Fake Out, but the Raichu going for the light screen, so gets the screens up early doors, helping hand comes out the Latios. The Thunderbolt not going to do too much to the Whimsicott, but the Psychic going to take that Mienshao down to its Sash. Knockoff, just Latios, just about hanging on, is going to reveal the Haban Berry as well, more than more than anything. As in comes the Tapu Fini Tailwind, going to get set up from the Whimsicott, and the Protect going to block that Thunderbolt from Raichu. Raichu comfortably living that Moonblast and Psychic then, so the Light Screen really playing dividends, and Thunderbolt from the Raichu is going to get rid of the Latios. That's one big threat on the Melmetal's team gone as the Calm Mind comes out with Infinity Protect, comes in from the incoming Lucario. Moonblast not going to quite do enough to Raichu, and goes to Reflect. There is the Muddy Water on the Tapu Fini. No accuracy drops this time, as now in comes the Charizard, so it's a good read there from me. Sees the incoming Moonblast. There's the Meteor Mash, so no attack buffs from the Lucario. Muddy Water going to miss the Lucario, and the Cross Whimsicott are going to be resisting that. Which Charizard is the Mega? Is it no Mega revealed this time, but the Mega Lucario is of course revealed on the Melmetal side. Does reveal the Rock Slide, of course, going to be blocked by that Protect. Gets the flinch on the Tapu Fini as well, and Raichu going to switch back in. Moonblast into the Fini is going to drop a special attack back to neutral, and there's another Meteor Mash for good measure. Does get the Muddy Water off fully this time, and does going to take the Whimsicott out. Gets the accuracy drop on the Lucario as well, which could be really big. And Barbracle is the final one on that Melmetal side. Raichu going to get the Fake Out on Lucario, but Poison Jab on the Barbracle going to get the job done. And now it's up to the Mienshao and the Raichu, and of course the Charizard in the back gets the Fake Out off onto the Barbracle. Rock Slide going to miss the Raichu, but take out the Mienshao. And the Thunderbolt almost doing enough to take out the Barbracle. This is such a close game on it. In comes the Charizard. It is the Mega Charizard X. Rock Slide going to take out the Lucario, as the Charizard going to live that one though. Fire Punch going to get rid of the Mega Lucario, so Barbracle Charizard 1v1. There's the Thunder Punch from the Charizard, and Meme going to take the lead in this first game. Charizard X really paying dividends in this one, and now Mienshao and Charizard lead the line in this game too, and there's Ambipom and Latios for the Melmetals this time, so switching it up. Charizard going straight for the Mega then, is going to Protect, reading that Fake Out, and Psychic is going to take the Mienshao down to Sash. Does he go for the knockoff again? No, he's going to go for the coaching this time, try and buffing up that Charizard's attack. Double hit, going to get rid of the Mienshao, but Dragon Pulse, he's going to go first, and down goes the Charizard's X. What a disaster turn 2 there for me. And now it's Latios versus Latias, and Fini comes in as well. Protect going to come out from that Latios, and Ambipom going to use that knockoff and going to reveal that berry on the Latias, sorry. Fini going for the Calm Mind as expected. Muddy Water is going to double miss the Latios, and Ambipom double hit going to get blocked by that Protect and Dragon Pulse. So Kirky doubling in there. There's the Side Shock from the Latias. Moonblast going to get rid of the Latios though. Reduces the advantage. Is double hit going to do enough? No, the Latios just hangs on, and in comes Villain then. So Kirky is switching things up. Side Shock not going to quite do enough. The Muddy Water is going to miss again. And there's the double hit misses as well. What is the RNG in this game? Protect coming out again. Gonna block that knockoff from Ambipom. Psychic not going to really trouble the Fini, but the Muddy Water misses again as well. Is at least going to take out the Ambipom and ties up a 2v2. Barbracle is the final one again for Kirky. Protect coming out from that Fini, and Rage Powder on the other end has allowed Barbracle go for that Shell Smash. And Whitehead going to regain those stats back to normal. Rage Powder, there it is. Side Shock to Villain, just comfortably living that Poison Jam. It's going to Oko. That Fini is out all up to the Latios. Rage Powder there on there is Vivillon is going to go down, but Barbracle going to get the job done, and Meme is going to drop that game, and Kirky ties up at 1 apiece as we go into the final game of this one. Then it does go with game 3, and Meme switching it up this time brings out the Spiritomb then alongside the Tapu Fini. Protect coming out on both sides, reads the Fake Out well there, does Meme. Foul play going to come out from that Spiritomb, just such a strong support mon. Double hit into that Fini spot. Thunderbolt not going to quite do enough as it goes for the Calm Mind. Then very brave there from Meme, and Icy Wind is going to slow things down on Kirky's side. Ambipom and Latios both for the speed drops. He's going to switch out, just seeing what was coming. Ally Switch comes in. That's a great read there. Sees the double hit coming. Moonblast going to get a big hit on Whimsicott and drop its special attack to boot as well. Great stuff there from Meme with the Ally Switch. Moonblast going to get blocked by that Protect drops. Stops that special attack drop coming. Knockoff going to reveal that Agua Berry on the Spiritomb, and the Icy Wind going to get rid of the Whimsicott. So no tailwind going up this time as Loud Latios switches in. Thunderbolt though is going to get rid of that Finny and double hit. But unfortunately it was probably meant for the Finny, but hits into the Spiritium again. This now from the Spiritium going to drop the special attack on that Latios. Now in comes the Mega Charizard X going straight for that protect. It's going to get at least block that Dragon Pulse. Out comes the taunt from the Ambipom, but Spiritium going on the offensive with the Icy Wind, dropping the speeds, and it's going to get rid of the Ambipom. And now in comes the Barracle. The Barracle's really been putting in the work for Kirky here. Dragon Pulse not going to quite do enough thanks to that special attack drop. And the Barracle at least going to get the Shell Smash up now. We've seen how much of a threat this has been with the Shell Smash being up. But Foul Play comes out from the Spiritium. Spiritium just putting in the work. Is it going to be able to get the final kill here? Charizard blocks that Rock Slide with a Protect. Foul Play does get the killing blow. And there it is. Meme gets his first win of the season over Kirky and his Melmetals. GG's to both players. I hope I did that one justice. I was trying to commentate as fast as I could over that one. That was a really, really exciting one. I said, Kirky's really been able to bring a few different spicy, mons and spicy sort of sets. And was not expecting that one with the Barbuckle, but Meme able to answer back with that one and played really smart with the switch-ins. Charizard X really leading himself well on that one, alongside the Tapu Fini as well. Getting those calm minds up. Really big answer to the Latias there. And Meme getting the win. Spiritomb proving to be the deciding factor there. GG's to Meme on getting that win. But on our final game of the week, we're saving the best till last. It is the Big Dog Derby, our favourite game of the season between Big Dog Dave and Dogsy, of course. Last time out, as we mentioned earlier, Dogsy did take the 2-0 win back in Season 3. So Dave going to be looking to get that revenge. Dogsy with that 2-1 head-to-head advantage thus far. We've seen Dave running very much the same sort of 6 as of recent, just sort of a side note, Dave has been very, very busy, so it's be understandable to sort of bring the same 6, but those sort of 6 have been proving to be pretty valuable. It's got a great win over Kirky a couple of weeks back, and has been able to make the games very, very close. If we forget the game against Latvia happened last week, but Landorus, Lando T and Ensign, primed really well to sort of put the work in here. If he can stop the Trick Room going up from something like the Bruxish or the Aromatisse, then Dave's in a very, very good spot. But gotta be watchful, of those intims. Dogsy may look to run something like an Adrenaline Orb, just allow something to go that little bit faster. But you'd think that Electric type duo of Coco Electivire are not going to really lend itself too well against the Landor T here. So we may, as I said, the Trick Room going up and allow that Mega Camera to put in the work. We know Dave likes to run that Ferrophone, and it is not going to drive those fire attacks. But yeah, I would definitely expect to see the Lando T, Ferrophone, and DD Mill, Rotom Wash, and potentially Jumpluff. But Jumpluff, he had that last season, and like we mentioned in previous weeks, this thing's been putting in the work. Those Rage Powders and Sleep Powders. If he can get something like the Trick Room setter asleep on Dogsy's side, then Dogsy is in a little bit of bother. But of course, got to be careful for that Abominable Snow and Artifish on Dogsy's side as well. Does Dave, Lando T with that 4 times Ice Weakness, not liable to live a Blizzard or any kind of Ice attack from those two. So a lot of options for both players here. It'll be interesting to see how this one goes, but let's get this one on the road. It is the Big Dog Derby, the Shadow Kings versus Newcastle Thunderous. It is a replay game. This one says Indeed Mail Ferrophone leading the line for Big Dog Dave, and Dogsy kicking things off with a Thwacky, and the Bruxish does reset the terrain, and the Insane switches in, gets the stat drop on the Thwacky more importantly, and Dogsy going straight in the attack for the Insane, and Ferrophone with his own lead seed is going to start putting in the work. There's the Hammer Arm from the Thwacky, gets super effective damage up with the Flare Blitz. He's going to get rid of the Thwacky. Insane taking a big recall damage there. Body pressure on the Ferrophone. Not going to really do too much right now. Bruxish does get the Trick Room off, all important, so he might be one down, but this is a great position for Cameron to be in. Dave gonna switch things out. It's a double switch out on both sides. Abominable Snow switches in. The Rotom Wash switches in. There's the Eruption. It is going to get rid of the Instant because Rotom Wash going to resist that one and not take too much of damage. It is a red card there on the Rotom Wash, so Cameron's going to switch out, and that's going to disturb that Trick Room being up. Is going to switch it back in. There's a Grassy Glide from the Abominable Snow making full use of Thwacky's terrain going up. Going to take out the Rotom Wash. There's the Body Press on the Ferrophone as well, so there's a very back and forth game thus far. But Cameron primed really well here with 2 times after Trick Room's Indeed Mail. Gonna switch back in, gonna get that terrain up. Gonna see an expanding force potentially if it's able to live the eruption, which it is. It does come to live it. Blizzard, is it going to do enough? No, it lives on 1% HP. There's the expanding force, gets rid of the abominable snow, so all of a sudden it's a 2v2. But no, the hail is going to take on the Indeed Mail, and now it is all up to Ferrophone with 1 time Trick Room left to go. Ferrophone is really slow. Eruption not really quite doing as much then with Camera does to slow health. There's the Ice Fang from the Brooks. It's going to take damage from the Iron Barbs and Rocky Helmet, and hail just affecting everything. Protect's going to come out from that Ferrophone. There is the ally switch currently going on the offensive with the eruption. There is the Ice Fang again, maybe going for a freeze. Is Brooks going to go down? That it doesn't. The leech is going to come for everyone. If it's able to live it, it's going to get some health back, but it's not going to live that. Cameron gets a killing blow, and Dogsy takes the lead in this one, then 1-0. So Dogsy leading the same way. Dave switching up the Indeed Mail and the Ferrophone across terrain is going to get reset. Allow Facket to go for that fake out and Indeed Mail. Going with the aerial airs and the Brooks, she's not tricking yet, but the Ferrophone does get the iron defense up more importantly. Crossy Glide is going to get rid of that Indeed Mail body press, get some big damage off from the Ferrophone, but the Brooks is now able to comfortably let that Trick Room go. Vincent comes in with that Intimidate, and now Dave's going to be able to go for those body presses, but Randy Rotten the Instant with those bulk up. Not a set you see very often on Instant, but Dave does like to run that bulk up set. And that's going to really put Instant in a very good position. There's the lead seed from the Ferrophone coming around, just slowly chipping away, but dropping the stats on Fwacky Flare. It's going to get rid of said Fwacky, but Instant going to take a big amount of real call damage. Ice Fang onto the Instant, going to get the freeze. How huge could that be on the Instant? The Instant was primed in such a good position to do damage there, and now in comes Cameron with 2 times after Trick Room, and of course a bonus snow, get the snow running up. Technically coming out that Ferrophone, Dave wisely using the protect. Eruption. Oh, the Instant gonna just hang on, but I think the hail is going to do enough to do damage across. The Instant gonna throw out the Drain Punch, gonna allow it to get some HP back and live to fight on the days. It is 3v3, Trick Room with 1 time left to go. Up comes the Ice Shard and the Abominable Snow. There is the Eruption, gonna get rid of both Ferrophone and Instant. All of a sudden it is now a 1v3. It is the Lando T with it all to do, and this looks to be game now. The bonus not going to be able to go for a Blizzard, you would expect. It doesn't go for the Earthquake. Blizzard comes out, down goes Lando T, and Dogsy going to take the Big Dog Derby once again. So GG's to both guys, both players. Dogsy gets himself another win on the board and goes into the mid-season point on a positive record. Unfortunately, Dave losing out once again. I wouldn't necessarily say Dave's been playing bad. It's just it's not been going his way, and he finds himself 1-4 and. Not so much bizarre circumstances, but not sort of something you'd expect from, seeing someone play so well and just not quite getting the results go his way. But anyway, let's take a look at what that means for the league table going into the second half of the season. And there, atop of the British Pokemon League, is the 2-time champion Aaron as Inglorious Surfers after taking out Latvian, goes to 5-0. Latvian now shares that second spot with the Welsh Warriors, both on 4-1. Latvian only having it by virtue of game difference. Buddha Boys keep that 4th position after taking down the Swindon Rookies, closely followed behind by the Shadow Kings on that 3-2 record, on a positive record this time around. So Dogsy really playing well thus far in Season 4. And then we've got 4 teams on 2 and 3. South Croydon Swords, Crimson Colossals and Long Island Goomies all stay in that top 8. Tendal Melmetals down in that drop position, down in 9th spot by virtue of game difference. Meanwhile, down the bottom there, Newcastle Thunderous, Rookadies and Space City PC all in 1 and 4, but Space City PC getting that all-important first one on the board, and hopefully once trades are done, Meme can really start to get back on the warpath and getting those wins under his belt. Well guys, that is going to do it for yet another week of the British Pokemon League action. We will see you all next week for the Week 6 show and all of our Week 6 matches, and of course we will do a bit of coverage on this week's trades. Of course, the free agency window going to end in 3.5 hours, so time to get those trades in, boys. But that is going to do it from me, your host Matt Starr. We will see you all next week at this here Twitch channel, twitch.tv/British Pokemon League. I'm your host Matt Starr. Goodbye and good night. Mwah.